What's going on, guys? So we're out here in the woods right now testing out these tires that we've had on this Jeep for about 20,000 miles now. These are the Advanta ATX 850 all-terrain tires, and they are a cheaper all-terrain option. I'll go ahead and say in the 20K mileage that we have on them so far, they definitely are stiffer than the Toyo AT3s I previously had on here. However, today we're going to do a little trail riding, see what we can get into. We are out here by ourselves, so hopefully things don't get too crazy. But we're just going to give these a whirl and see how they do out here in the trail, and then share it with you guys. Stick along. I'm sure it's not coming out too much on camera, but I will mention that this right now that we're going through is kind of sugary sand, so it is softer sand. I do notice that these all-terrains don't seem to have really too much of a problem. Only in two-wheel drive right now, so they're pulling through the sugar sand, no issues. So one thing I didn't share in the intro is the size of these tires. So these are a 35 12.5 R22. So it is on a 22-inch rim. It is a 22 by 12-inch rim. And I know it's not your probably traditional Jeep setup, but we do plan to change up the setup on here. But before we do so, wanted to give a review of these tires and this setup and how it does out in the trails. Again, we do quite a bit of trail riding with this Jeep, nothing too crazy, but we do a good bit of riding out towards the Ocala National Forest and in and around there. So it's they've been good so far. I will say the only complaints I do have is, like I mentioned in the intro, they do feel stiffer, so you do feel probably more of the road and bumpiness than, like I said, compared to the Toyos that I previously had. However, they haven't been bad, so. And some sugar sand here. Struggling a little bit. Struggling. Not bad. Oh, that's a good one. Downhill action. Do a little backup, reverse into some sugar. All right, this will be a good test here. So we are currently in sugar sand. Just two-wheel drive. Yeah, not terrible, not crazy, but it is soft. It is indeed soft. I'm gonna move this tree just because this one's definitely gonna give me some nice pinstripes. Again, no real issues with traction with these all-terrains. We're having 20,000-ish miles on them. Let's see if there's anything more challenging up here. Let's move that stick. Some of you may be asking, 22 by 12 wheels, off-roading, what is that like? Well, I can tell you, it is not super ideal, which is why we do plan to change the setup on here to be more off-road-able, but it's not bad. For the minor trail riding that we do in this Jeep Gladiator, it's been totally fine. But we are looking to get a little bit more action. So time to change the setup and go with something different. But it is certainly doable. Sugar sand right through here. Squirrel running in front of us. He can't decide which way he wants to go. Alright, there you go. Garbage in the woods. Never like to see that. A boat, though. Impressive. They got a boat back here. All right, folks. Well, we're gonna pick it up in a minute. We're gonna go down a little ways and see if we can find something that's a little bit more eventful to test these tires out with. All right, pick it up soon. All right, so on this trail, we should find a little bit more moisture on the ground. See if we can get in anything that's a little more challenging than the last trail. This road's definitely much more bouncier, I'll say that. I should also mention the tire pressure. So right now I'm just running at 35 PSI for the tire pressure on here. So nothing crazy, but just doing a little testing. Well, we've turned around. We're heading back out of the trail that we just came down. What we'll do is we will, a couple of those ones that we avoided, maybe we'll try poking through them without getting too crazy and get more outside footage of the tires in action. Let's see how that goes. Well, I guess let's hit this, and we are close to the trailhead again. See what happens. All right, so we're basically back at the start of the trail, and we're gonna wrap up the video here. My final thoughts on it are, these tires are pretty good. For cheap tires, they've been wearing great. I do rotate them every 5,000 miles, but they're wearing great. They do decent off-road. Again, nothing we did today was that crazy or challenging, but they seem to have pretty good grip. And again, the on-road performance, they're not loud. They do well in the rain and wet roads. So would I buy them again? I certainly would. I certainly would if I was looking for a cheap all-terrain tire to put on in 35 12.5 R22. Now, ask you guys, should we test these things more? Should we find some muckier stuff to try and put them through? Bring somebody with us in case we do get stuck? Let me know down in the comments. Or should we just go ahead and swap up to maybe a more traditional setup for a Jeep? So let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and we'll catch you in the next one.